What's good, fam? This your main man, Casey Field, King Self for life. I mean, listen, what do y'all want me to say? Like, real talk. What do y'all want me to say? I always say, I say when it comes to Tony Khan and the way how he books things, Tony Khan books his pay-per-views like it's either a pay-per-view, like it's a boxing pay-per-view or UFC pay-per-view, because if you notice, if you ever watch a boxing or UFC pay-per-view, the pre-show starts like about 6, 7 o'clock, and then the main event don't come on till like 11 or 12 o'clock. But the problem with Tony Khan, he tries his best to get people on the show who either storyline don't even matter, or he just wants somebody to get the doggone paycheck. I'm like, no. Out of that entire show that we watched last night, and listen, when I get to we got some discussions to talk about when it's concerning this main event, because I will go in on it if y'all bear with me. I don't really give a dang about the pre-show. Like, the only thing on the pre-show I would have kept was Anthony Bourne's coming back and taking out Max Caster. I didn't have a problem with that. Fine. Okay, if this is a way to start building up Anthony as a singles competitor, I mean, cool. Obviously take out the cat that used to roll with. Fine, I don't have a problem with that. But all the other crap that happened on the pre-show, cut that dead weight. And then matches on the show, you know what? As much as I'm cool with Big Bill and them and Hurt Syndicate, that's a match you could have saved for Dynamite. That's a match you honestly could have saved for Dynamite. You could have saved that for Dynamite. We all know you could have saved Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe. That's a Dynamite match. And then you got a Ring of Honor pay-per-view that's coming up. I'm like, I don't know, for people who is interested in this Jericho Bandino script or storyline, you save that for the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. So you cut the matches on the pre-show, you just leave Anthony Bourne's match, and then you cut those 3 matches I just told you about. Now you leave, obviously you're gonna have an opener. This Kevin Knight young man. Now look, let me tell y'all something right quick, because we gotta go there. We have to go there. This may have been AEW's blackest pay-per-view period. I don't even remember the last time AEW had it where we was like only, like, I'm talking about foundational Black America. We was heavy on this show. But just because we was heavy on this show, don't make the show off the chain. Because there was a lot of issues that we had that was on this show. Like I said, time management, storylines that don't even make a lick of sense, foolish crap that but like I said, we was heavy on the show. We was all on the show. We was at the beginning, we was in the middle, and obviously, we was at the end. The opener, Kevin Knight versus Will Ospreay, fine. Had that match on there. This is part 1 to the Owen Hart Cup. Everybody and their grandma knew Will Ospreay was winning that. Like, we all knew that. But this was basically a Kevin Knight showing. For cats who really not familiar with this young man, this dude got an opportunity to show out. Him and Will Ospreay, they killed him. Great job. Will Ospreay is moving on. After that, we got Mercedes versus Julia Hart. Now, there's a lot of botches that happened in this matchup. Obviously, a lot of people don't really give a dang about Mercedes with this whatever she got going on. I'm like, listen, if she only had the TBS title, maybe I'd probably tolerate it a little bit more, but no. Obviously she retained it. I know that this match was actually for the Owen Hart Cup tournament, so Mercedes is moving on. Then, like I said, we got the tag team match for the tag team titles. Big Bill, Bounty Keith versus Hurt Syndicate. They won with the help of MJF. That was basically the whole matchup. After that, I think you got the trios titles match. And now, for me, this was probably the best part of the entire show. Now, when I say best part, I'm talking about the aftermath, because I knew that the Death Riders trio champions was retaining their titles. Like, listen, Tony Khan and company is going to Listen, they're gonna beat this dead horse of a storyline. I told y'all after Revolution. Listen, for everybody that's upset and mad and crying and saying screw AEW and they're done with this company and all this crap. Listen, I mean, what is there to tell y'all? What, like, real talk? Y'all know what TK and them was doing. Like, y'all already know. Is it justifiable? Heck to the freaking no. But y'all, I told y'all, we on this so-called road to all in, and this is the best way they, I'm like, but again, for me, if they came across as interesting, if the whole Death Rider squad came off as somebody you gave a dang about, maybe people would tolerate this. But because TK and company and Mox and them don't give a crap about us, they don't give a crap about if you give a dang about it or not, they gonna keep pushing this. It's not the heat that they think they want. I'm like, it is what it is. It is what it is. But after the Death Riders had retained their trios championships, I said, well, I've been telling y'all what was to come. I've been saying they are getting ready to turn on Adam Copeland. It is a done deal. I've been saying it. The seeds were planted. They've been telling you. And ladies and gentlemen, my man, Dax Harwood, messed around and quote unquote laid out Adam Copeland. And that Cash, he played it off. He was like, man, what the heck is you doing? He played the whole thing off, and next thing you know, that man went and popped him in the head, and they both did. They move on. I said this was the best part of the entire show. The best part. I said, ladies and gentlemen, do you understand when you get something that you're emotionally invested in? Cats, that's all cats be talking about. We don't talk about everything else that happened because you know what you're gonna get when you watch AEW. You know you're gonna get some good wrestling. You know that. It's the emotional investment that people be asking for. And what those two did right there by beating the dog poop out of Adam Cole, I loved every moment. I say, ladies and gentlemen, that's called storytelling. What the clown is everything else going on. I'm like, TK, when you gonna learn, bro? What you pulled off right there, that's great. Everything else, then we got all of the what came after that? Yeah, Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe. Good match, but you could have saved that for freaking Dynamite or Collision, one of the two. You didn't need to have that match. It was for the Owen Hart Cup tournament. Kyle Fletcher moves on. Then after that, we got the doggone Ring of Honor title. We didn't need this matchup at all. And then the way how they pulled things off in the match, Jericho won by cheating, but then the family had caught a bat and they pulled over Aubrey. Aubrey went and got the bat, and then they restarted the match, and that's when Bandito won. I was like, man, I said, you could have saved this crap for the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. You did not need to have this mess on it. You didn't. But again, that's what TK does, man. I don't, like I said, I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe something. I don't know. Maybe they got something on this band. I don't know. Maybe Jericho and Moxley got something on this band, and they forcing themselves to be on the show. And if they don't, they gonna reveal some bull jive about it. I don't know. I don't know. But it didn't need to be on the show because it was garbage. I didn't give one iota. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, when I say majority of this pay-per-view, now normally, if I'm watching a pay-per-view, I'm watching a pay-per-view. I may be on my phone here and there. Ladies and gentlemen, when I say I was on my phone 85% of this show, I was messing around looking at Twitter and scrolling around and just seeing what everybody else was saying about the show. And I was even looking at basketball. Let that sink in. I was watching basketball on my phone more so than actually paying attention to this garbage man pay-per-view. You know that's sad, ladies and gentlemen. You know that's sad. Like I said, look, we know fools are going to go online and they're going to say how much they hate Tony Khan and they want to kill Tony Khan and all this stupid stuff. I'm like, look, you ain't got to go that far. Look, we don't agree with how he's booking right now, because what he's doing, he bull jiving. Let's call it for what it is. He on his bull jive mode. Tony Khan been on his bull jive mode for a minute. But you ain't got to be sitting up there, because I was reading some of the comments. I said, man, some of y'all. I'm like, it is what it is on that. Then we got we gonna wrestle forever matchup. Adam Cole versus DG for the TNT title. Oh my goodness, I forgot about it. Tony Storm versus Megan Bayne. Now, this was all about and how they did it, because they was in Philly. They had Tony come out looking like she was training like she was Rocky or whatever. Because remember, if you watch any of the Sylvester Stallone movies with Rocky, he had to do all the training because everybody he was going with was basically beating the brakes off of him. Well, that's basically what they kind of tried to do with this situation. And so you had Penelope Ford out there cheating and behind all. I mean, she was just cheating. So Megan Bayne was kind of resulting in that. Now, I've heard people say that they kind of wish Megan Bayne didn't just jump right into the title picture. But I'm trying to see who else they was going to have. Because if you look at their women's division, they really didn't have nobody else built up to actually go after Tony Storm. They didn't have nobody. I'm like, who else would they put in that position to go after Tony for the title right now? Now, I understand that a lot of people, I mean, look, you knew she wasn't winning. Everybody and their mama knew that. I knew she wasn't winning, especially with her getting the pinfall over on Dynamite. Or was that Collision? It was one or two. But I knew she wasn't winning. But they did what they tried to do. They tried their best to make her look like she was this dominant Beth Phoenix type of character, like Glamazon, because that's basically the vibes I'm getting right now. But the moment what's my man Luther came out there and basically got rid of Penelope, now it was a one-on-one match. Now it was Tony was like got her powers. Now she was getting her licks in or whatever. But they did a move on one another. They was off turnbuckles and they both kind of came down awkwardly as heck. I hope both of them is okay. But after that, Megan Bayne tried to get a couple of licks in, and then Tony did her finish on her, and then she just she actually kicked out of her finish. So then when she tried to do something else, she just rolled up and got the pinfall. So I don't even know if this is over with. I have no clue. I don't know. I have no idea what they do from here on out. I really don't. But Tony got the victory. Back to the TNT title picture matchup. Adam Cole versus DG. This is a wrestle, no time limit. And Adam Cole got the victory as I expected. I said he was winning. Congratulations to him. He got the job done. Now Tony Khan, make the man feel different. That's all we're asking. Just make us give a dang about the TNT title. Make us give a rat's behind about the TNT title. That is all we're asking. Then we get to my honest opinion, best match on the whole show. I knew the triple threat for the international championship was about to be off the chart. I knew it. I knew it. Mike Speedball Bailey, Ricochet, and Kenny Omega brought the house down. I mean, what else you expect? You got three great wrestlers that's gonna go out there and kill it and do what they do. They killed it. It was the best. It was like, for me, it was the best match on the entire. To me, that was the main event. Honest opinion, that was the main event. That was the real main event. Because the foolishness that we got in the main event, okay, let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, everybody and their mama was hoping and praying that Tony Khan was going to quote-unquote pivot. I told y'all from the jump. I said no. Now, I see a whole lot of people trying to make comparisons because of what Swerve said after the show. I'll get there when I get there. But about Booker T being quote-unquote buried by Triple H and this situation. So,
sorry, I'm having trouble understanding.
Don't pay attention to my car. She tripping. Man, Mox and Swerve was doing everything in his ability to try to get that victory. He was doing everything, but I said it's gonna be some kind of foolishness that's gonna get him to. And then one of the dumbest spots of the entire matchup. First of all, they outside the ring. Moxley goes and gets a ladder And I'm like, Paul, I forgot Paul's last name, but Paul is the referee. I'm like, Paul, shouldn't you be counting? Shouldn't you be counting down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Like, he was literally watching like, hey, guys, stop it. Moxley, what are you doing? Get back in the ring. He didn't even count, ladies and gentlemen. So that match was over like for like 2. They was outside the ring for probably about 2, 3, especially with them. So they on top of the ladder. They both trying to knock one another out. Swerve gets the advantage of Moxley. And by the way, now we didn't have blood all day until the very end of the show, where Moxley was quote unquote acting like a dang vampire by biting the mess out of Swerve, and he was bleeding all over the place. But they on the ladder, right? Paul ain't even counting. He just not even giving it down. I'm like, Paul, the match is over. The match is over. Nope. He watching like we watching. He literally was watching like we was watching. So Swerve does the stomp off the doggone ladder, and they go flying through the doggone table. That was probably, even though the getting to that spot was dumb, that the execution I didn't have a problem with. You know, it was one of them. I'm not, you know, everybody be saying holy poop. I'm not finna put, because first of all, you know, this is one of the most dumbest sayings ever. How the heck is bowel movement holy? I ask yourself that. For the people who always saying holy poop all day, how the clown is bowel movement holy? It makes absolutely no sense, ladies and gentlemen. Do you see how backwards we as a society are? Where we're saying bowel movement is holy. Makes absolutely no sense, but that's us as the people, ladies and gentlemen. So Swerve and them crawl back to the ring. They get back in the ring. Here come the Death Riders. Here come Marina Shafir cheating their behinds off. And then everybody start going crazy. I'm like, wait, who coming out? Hangman was coming. Because remember when Hangman said he was going to do everything in his power to quote unquote make sure that Swerve didn't get the championship back. But because of what he had said to him on Dynamite, he had a change of heart. And so he like, you know what, man? Okay. So he actually came out there to try to help Swerve, but it backfired. The Death Riders came out there. They tried to beat the brakes off of him. So it was kind of like a 2-on-5 situation. Well, all of them got, and then when Marina Shafir got up in there, she was acting like she was finna do something. She actually got laid out by her own guy, Moxley. So now everybody in the moment like, okay, Swerve about to get the job done. Y'all, the lights go out, right? So I'm like, who the clown is helping this man now? Ladies and gentlemen, now I've heard about the Young Bucks coming back, but that was like early February. Ever since then, things went quiet on them. We ain't heard from them. All I knew they was in New Japan. That's all we knew. Now, if y'all remember, before they dipped out, remember, they was going against them. So I'm trying to figure out how the clown did they meet up and have a chance. I don't get it. Didn't make no sense to me. But the Bucks have sucked. Shout out to my man Jeff. Y'all all know what I'm talking about. Oh man, he called them the Bucks have sucked. They helped Moxley retain the title. The Bucks have sucked. The Young Bucks. I said, well, everybody online talk about F this company and they done and they don't care about it no more and all of this. I said, ladies and gentlemen, I said, ain't that the cycle of being a pro wrestling fan? We say we done, we say this and all this, and then what do? We go right back to watching it like it ain't nothing. I'm like, I told everybody that Swerve wasn't winning, but I sure didn't see that. Hold up. I sure didn't see that. I really didn't see that. I don't really know what to think about that, but it does let you know that Hangman and Swerve are about to be a tag team, and more than likely, I don't know when the matchup is going to happen, but it's going down. We're getting the matchup. It's going to be Hangman and Swerve versus the Young Bucks. I don't know when, but that's where the title, that's where the storyline is going for Swerve. So Swerve has been maneuvered out of the main event title scene. Obviously, you already know. Now, let's go ahead and talk about it. So after the show, Swerve was talking with the fans, and now this ongoing beef I told y'all about with Swerve and Booker T. He said F Booker T. So the hardcore WWE shields are sit up and said, well, Swerve doesn't have his priorities right. He's focusing on the WWE guy and all this crap. Meanwhile, his own booker is booking him like crap and all of this crap. I'm like, y'all, I done told y'all this. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Can I be 100% with y'all? So, and then people were trying to make the comparison that Moxley buried Swerve 10 times worse than Booker T. Well, one, I don't remember Moxley saying anything racial towards Swerve. I don't. If somebody can find that promo, please find it. Please find it. I want to see it. So, no. Booker T should have won at WrestleMania. That's not even a question. Cooner T should have won at WrestleMania 19. But he chose to, quote unquote, do business. And at Swerve point, or Swerve's perspective, same thing. He chose to do business. Because we all knew Swerve wasn't winning that championship. I don't know when he'll get it back. But no. We're stuck with this Death Riders bull jive until freaking all in. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. It's unfortunate. I wanted Adam Copeland to win it back at Revolution. But TK said, heck to the freaking no. So I knew if he wasn't winning, then when they had the rematch on Dynamite, he didn't win then. I said, ladies and gentlemen, you already know what's coming. Everybody who upset and mad, we should have known this. Like, I don't know why it's hard for people to get that through their skulls. Like, we know. This is what we're stuck with. We're stuck with this. I wish Tony Khan and them had a creative bone in their body to get us to give a dang about it, but it is what it is. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like, so like this is what we get. This is what we had to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're dealing with. But like I said, a lot of people is upset with Swerve because of him going at Booker T. Listen, I told y'all it's so when you got somebody who then quote unquote sold out for the E, and I told y'all, Swerve wanted to be a Triple H guy. He wanted to. But he understood. He didn't want nothing to do with him. He didn't, because he knew, okay, he probably not gonna coon for me. I can't get him to coon. Now, a lot of people say, well, look at TK. TK got this. I'm like, look, Swerve got all that money. I guess Swerve think he cool right now. He think he good. I'm like, if he and Hangman could get me invested in this situation going with the Young Bucks, we'll see. But as for the main event title picture, I just want to know how the clown we're going to get from here to All In. Like, that's the biggest question I'm asking Tony Khan and company. Can they keep me invested for the next 2.5 months? Because I don't know. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know, but I always say when we walk away from an AEW pay-per-view, I say the same thing. You're gonna get great wrestling. You might get a decent story here and there, but it's like the finishes and everything. Like TK and them just don't give a crap. They don't. And guess what? They know us silly clowns are gonna tune in. We gonna sit up and watch. They know. They absolutely know, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, I got to get out of here. Like I said, I'll start working in a couple of minutes. Y'all already know what to do. Hit the freaking comment section up. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Tell me where you are. Where's your head concerning this company? Are you like the rest of them that said they're done? They don't give a dang about this company anymore? Or are you like me and going to try to wait this thing out and see what the heck is going to happen? You know, but it is what it is. I'm out the door. Make sure you hit that like button and I'm out. Holla at me.